You're watching Hot Walk Academy. My name is Ming-Jinn. I want to help you master your kitchen. Let's cook. Okay, today we are making ginger scallion sauce. Now this sauce is a sauce that's traditionally eaten with 白煮鸡, which is just chicken that's been boiled with virtually nothing, maybe a little bit of salt, maybe some aromatics like cilantro. But this sauce is very flavorful, and among my community, my friends like to call it green sauce, and they eat it by the spoonful. I hope you really enjoy it. Let me talk a little bit about our tools and our ingredients. Obviously, a ginger scallion sauce is going to have a lot of wonderful scallions that will provide the base, and flavored deeply and a lot by ginger root. So here we have this beautiful, fresh, you want to pick a ginger root that is nice and juicy and fresh, especially for a sauce like this, okay? We also have 1 cup of vegetable oil, and we've got some coarse sea salt that we'll be using as well. For our tools, I've got a scale, and of course my end grain cutting board, my Chinese vegetable knife, and this is just a wonderful ceramic ginger grater made by Kyocera. Highly recommend this one. And of course, we've got our bowls. One will be for our scallions, one for our ginger root, and the prep bowl that we'll be actually putting everything into and doing our cooking here. So just before we get started, I do want to bring my vegetable oil to temperature, which means I want to bring it all the way up to the smoke point. That's going to be 400 and about 20 degrees or so. So I'll be right back. Here's the first step. My friend Lorelei actually asked me for the recipe. And you know what? I almost never do recipes. So this is what I figured. I'm going to have a recipe by the end of this video. And we're going to do that by measuring everything that I'm doing. Okay, so let's see. For scallions, I've got, what is this? 5 and 10 and about 15 stalks of scallion. And I've got my scale here. So let's see. I'll turn that on with the bowl on there. And for my ginger root, I think I want about, I know I want this much here. And I think I would like to do this one as well. So Lorelei, that is 4.76 ounces of ginger root, and now we know how much ginger root goes in there. Here's our first step. We are going to take our scallion, and we want to remove the pieces that we don't want to have in our sauce. So for me, what that's going to be is the roots. Cut that off, put that in the sink later for compost. And some of these dry ends of scallion, just hold it gently and cut that off, and we'll do that. Trim the rest of them just the same way. You need to kind of get to know, as you start to cook, how much scallion can I work with at a time. For me, the size of my knife, the size of my hand, the size of my board, it's about 4 pieces, okay? The next step is I want all of my scallion to be the right and the same size. And for this particular sauce, we are going to be doing hot oil on it, so the scallion piece needs to be pretty small as we go. Now these scallions, boy, these things are pretty fat. If you kind of look at the stem there, you can see just how fat that is. In order to make sure that it's actually a small enough size, before I slice it this way, I'm actually going to put a knife right here, and I'm just going to go right through the middle of the stalk in order to thin that out a little bit. I might do even another one right over here. So I'll do that to all of these. And again, that's just to make sure that when I'm chopping it, it's nice and thin, so that when the oil hits it, it actually cooks it at the right, to the right texture. Okay, so once you get all of your scallion done, we are going to start chopping that scallion. And the goal is to have enough scallion for our sauce. Again, I'm going to take about 4 stalks. I'll make sure you can see this here. I'll take about 4 stalks, and you know what? If I cut all the way through, that might take kind of a long time. Here's a way to speed that up. You can find the midpoint, give that a cut, and double it over. Now you've got a lot of scallion to work with at the same time. I'm going to put 2 hands on it just to make sure that I've got a good grip on there. And let's go ahead and start chopping that. And we're going to chop that into fairly small pieces here. Oh. You know what? For chopping, don't let anyone bull you. You don't need to go fast. Precision is king. It's so important to make sure all your pieces are the same size. Speed will come as you practice. Don't go fast. That's how you cut yourself. No, again, cooking's not a competition. You're not trying to do it fast for anyone. Get it right for yourself. Enjoy the chopping that you're doing as you go. Okay, that size, you know what? That size to me is a little bit too big. And here's how you can fix that. I'm actually gonna put the heel of my palm on my blade, and I'm actually gonna rock that kind of back and forth. And this is just kind of a rough cut to make sure that all of the pieces of my scallion are about the right size. And I want them, again, when they hit that hot oil, I want that scallion to wilt right away. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's go ahead and put that into our prep bowl here. I'll show you one more time. Let's get some scallions. That's, oh, there's a nice dead piece. Look at that, get rid of that. One more, find the midway, bring it over, and chop that up. You know, I love cutting, especially these real crisp vegetables. It is just therapeutic for me. I love the rhythmic part of it. I love the smell. I love the feel. I love the sound of the knife on the board. It is just a lot of fun to make this sauce. All right, clean your board with the edge of your knife. Again, these Chinese cleavers are fantastic because they act like bench scrapers. Okay, here's the next one. We're gonna be using our ginger grater. And this ginger grater is made of ceramic, these super nice sharp teeth, great silicone grip, and a silicone tip on the end. And this is what I like to do. I actually like to set my grater up in my board just like this. It doesn't move around too much and the product can fall off. Let me get these, move them over here. And again, our 4.76 ounces of ginger root. Now, people often talk about how do you remove the skin from ginger root? And let me ask you a different question. Why do you remove the skin from ginger root? You don't need to remove it. I've been eating ginger root skin for my entire life. Nothing bad has happened yet. You could try it for yourself. Do make sure that your ginger root is clean, no dirt. For this one, I have already washed it and dried it. It's ready to go. So hold one end. You can go ahead and just start grating that. And you can just watch how easily that ginger root just becomes pulp. And you get a lot of this amazing juice that's flowing down. We're gonna grate all this ginger. You could see here in a minute. What's gonna happen in a second here is that the fibers of the ginger are gonna start, and look at that. All those fibers are there, and you know what? That's actually a good thing. Here's why. This grater is removing the pulp of the ginger while leaving these fibers that we don't want in our sauce anyways. And what's really nice is you can now hold that fiber. It acts like a little handle for you on the other end. So we'll finish grating this one. And all those fibers are gonna turn into like a little brush for our ginger grater in just a second. And you'll see you can actually use it to clean the grater right off. Keep in mind, if you don't have a juicy piece of ginger, you're not gonna get so much liquid in your sauce. And you really want that because it's just so aromatic, it smells amazing, and it brings a lot of flavor to your ginger scallion sauce. Toward the end here, you're just gonna have this little, all this fiber is left. You don't want that in your sauce anyways. It's great that it came out. Let me just finish grating the rest of it. And you got here your the rest of the fiber, and this got a lot of great juice in it. You wanna squeeze that out and keep that in your sauce, all right? And I'm gonna use that fibrous part. I'm gonna clean my grater right off. And I've got this amazing grated ginger now to use. You can see how well that's grated. And look at all that juice there in the bottom. Okay, we're gonna combine now our chopped up scallions. Again, this was 15 stalks of scallion. We'll put that in our main prep bowl. And then we're gonna take all of that ginger root, almost 5 ounces, and we're gonna put that right on top. You don't really need to worry about mixing it. It's all gonna be cooked together in just a few moments here. All right, and the next step is we're going to add a little bit of salt, but here's the little trick. Don't sprinkle your salt on until you're ready to splash fry your sauce. Here's why. Sodium, when it touches a plant cell wall, it's going to break that cell wall and moisture is going to come out. Essentially, you are wilting your product, your scallion in this case, before the oil has a chance to hit the scallion. You don't want that to happen. Nobody wants to eat swampy vegetables. You want the sauce to have a nice texture. And that scallion, if it's pre-salted, it's gonna wilt down before the oil comes in. Here's how you solve the problem. Just before you sprinkle your oil on top, put your salt on in just the moment before. Then the salt does not have a chance to break the cell wall and wilt your scallion. And it's the oil that is effectively frying that nice, crisp, fresh scallion with all the moisture on the inside. You'll get a much better texture for your sauce if you do it that way. Let's go ahead and bring our hot oil and we'll do the splash fry. Let's take a look at the temperature. It is up to over 450 degrees. So we are ready. And before we put that on, what we do want to do is we want to put some salt, and you're going to sprinkle the sea salt pretty generously over your scallion and ginger root. And you might think, boy, that's a lot of salt, but this is the sauce that provides the flavor a lot of times for this plain boiled chicken. Okay, so here we go. This hot oil is gonna go right in now to that ginger scallion sauce and give it a nice even coat. Again, this is called a splash fry technique. Okay, when all that oil is in, go ahead and take your chopsticks and give it a good mix. All of that coarse sea salt has now dissolved into that hot oil, and the oil is doing its job. It is cooking the outside of that scallion and vaporizing the rest of that liquid. Thanks for watching this episode of Hot Wok Academy. I don't want to make videos just to entertain you. I want you to go get the ingredients and cook along with me. As you cook with me, you begin to learn the skills of cooking and get that knowledge embedded into your mind and into your hands. And that's what we call instinct. So I hope you cook along with me, video after video, and enjoy making these foods and sharing them with those that are in your community. Thanks for being with me.